This week on Behind the Studs on the Road.
Meet Ross Weingarten, a Mennonite shed builder, but not your ordinary run-of-the-mill. He is a man with great history and great purpose.
And man, can he build a treehouse.
Here on Behind the Studs on the Road.
Plainfield, Connecticut. Population 15,138. About 357 people per square mile in the central part of this nutbank state.
The population is middle class with major emphasis in farming and manufacturing.
So being up here in this neck of the woods, your summers are pleasant, but the winters, man, they can be brutal.
So what brings us up here? This man, Ross Weingarten, hands-on owner and proprietor of Sawyer's Sheds. A Mennonite who has carried a 300-year Amish-old tradition to central Connecticut. We first met up with Ross at a trade show and saw some of his work. One of the nicest chicken coops I've ever seen.
I know, right? I liked it so much, I would have bought the shed and then the chickens.
So we interviewed him and asked if we could come up and see where it all begins, here at Sawyer's Sheds. We met up with Ross at his well-stocked lot of all types of sheds, from garden sheds, man sheds, she sheds, big sheds, little sheds.
And don't forget the chicken coop.
Who could? Off to the shed tour. Ross showed us how it all is made.
Ross brought us over to one of his upgraded sheds.
A three-gabled, tongue-and-groove, double-door barn look with chocolate brown trim that would be perfect for a workshop or even an office.
Snazzy.
Ross tells us that they work with the local lumber yards who fabricate the boards to the exact specifications in building these extremely sturdy sheds.
It's tried and true construction that's been around for 200 years.
Right.
So this type of construction is about as strong as you can get.
Inside, it is made with true 2x4 thickness.
These 2x4s right here are larger in mass than a 2x6 that you buy at the lumberyard.
Yep.
So you have more mass in this 2x4 than a 2x6.
The walls are usually 1-inch thick, rough sawn pine. Also are the floors.
And all that makes a huge difference.
Don't forget the metal roofs that last up to 100 years.
Metal roofs on everything. We can do an asphalt roof, but why would somebody want a roof that would last 20 to 30 years? And in many cases, people put moss on it.
Sure.
What they do now, yeah.
Yeah, the lichen and everything.
This roof right here is metal. It'll probably last 100 years.
Wow.
And it might be rusty in 100 years. So maybe in 100 years from now, they might have an epoxy that you roll on it and get another 100 years out of it.
I'd be rusty in 100 years.
Yeah. So,
Why metal?
They shed so much quicker in this New England weather. Let's go see another one.
okay, great.
Next, we looked into a more simple constructed shed with a simple post and beam.
Everything about this building is solid. This is simple post and beam construction. Our trusses are double plated with 1 inch. You'll see other manufacturers, they'll use little wafer board plates or they always be cut from scrap for those. But we use 1 inch thick both sides. Makes it very strong.
On the corners are 6-inch thick timbers that are fastened together with either spikes or a timber lock screw that locks them in solid, with no chance of settling or movement for a very, very long time.
In many cases, you'll only find one stud in the corner. And what they do is they slap these two with one stud and they staple the heck out of it, and that's how they hold that panel to this panel.
Right.
And then they cover it with trim.
Right.
You have no idea that there's 100 little staples behind it.
Right.
But we nail everything and then we lag or we use the spike on our vertical and horizontal partitions. So right in here, you'll see the same thing down along the horizontal.
Yeah.
And we have 6 inches worth of wood that goes into. I build them a little differently than they're built out there in the industry.
The good thing about the tongue and groove is that it can be replaced, whereas panel boards or OSB material will rot over time, and then a quarter of your shed is in jeopardy. And of course, the question was asked.
How long have you been building these sheds?
We've been doing this 2.5 years.
How long have you been a shed builder?
2.5 years.
But Ross just didn't pick up the trade,
Oh no, he has been fascinated with architecture and building at a young age.
and he has built several homes.
And one of his hobbies?
Tree houses! And he is building one right now.
That's right, 2 stories high, sitting on 16 pylons at 4 feet deep.
This tree house is on steroids.
Every time I come in up here, that I just stepped into heaven.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave this place. I just feel, I have this euphoric feeling every time I come up.
Okay.
And just standing here right now,
Yeah.
listening to that behind me,
Yeah.
and then turning around and viewing it, I feel like I'm in heaven. So I've got this nailed down for now, but we're going to make a hat.
Oh, he has grand ideas in the making.
When you're coming up, and then when you're up here, you put it back down for safety, so there's no issue. We left.
So
this
that's how
little-
you're going to get in and out of the treehouse.
Yeah, and if you look, there's a certain
A
angle.
rung ladder going up.
Certain angle that's perfect for runs.
Oh, nice.
So you just come right up.
And the block and tackle elevator.
Yeah, okay, an elevator.
That's awesome.
That'll work. Why don't we just block and tackle?
Yeah.
Block and tackle.
What we have to do is use a winch, 12-volt battery.
Yeah.
But the thing with that, I can't even say an elevator. I have to say maybe a dumbwaiter. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
The Jimmy lift. Dumbwaiter, same thing.
and it gives it kind of a really kind of a nice feel. It's this little bitty staircase going up, and
Nice feel.
now we're not tied in all the way, you know.
No Jamesons. A simple 4-inch post and beam construction with a sleeping loft above.
Don't forget the master bedroom.
It's a tree house.
Yep.
You know, the kids would go, well, we want the loft. And the
course.
parents go, well, okay, well, we have to stay in the master bedroom downstairs. We really wanted the loft, but we'll stay down there by ourselves.
Yeah. I think they'd rather be downstairs.
Man, there's some pretty jealous squirrels up there.
So we're gonna make a couple adjustments, but we're gonna make that adjustment now. We just have to jack this up and put the extra pieces underneath the see. But I noticed that there's an adjustment.
Well, if you give it about 20 years, when the thing grows, it'll probably level
Very,
itself out.
very rarely do you find much growth at this level. The growth is at the top.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's something. Yep.
Makes sense.
Well, Ross has his office home here on site, and with that, well, there are some things that just give it that homey touch, I guess.
Coffin? Hello? Coffin?
Muffin? Wait a minute.
You break?
Oh my God.
I got those.
Oh boy. That's the employees.
Okay.
So
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
you need some explaining to do.
Yes,
Lucy,
Okay, so
I've seen
found
it all
these-
now.
I found these online.
You found them online.
I found
You
them
found
online.
what? Slightly used?
Chicken coops?
No, they
Treehouse
were
in this.
brand new from a guy, a funeral director that was retiring.
All right, hold on. Hold on.
Well, why did you go to a different?
Why?
Why did
Okay,
you go
well,
to a
let me
different
explain.
funeral home?
Yeah. So underneath, you see those nice folding?
He actually wanted the dollies the caskets were sitting on so he could stack wood on them, and it made it easier to transport.
You can cart the wood right over to where you need it. You can put a big stack of wood on these.
What a smart thinker.
So why do you have the coffin?
Because, well, let me explain everything, right?
I really had a hard time keeping a straight face. But he was serious.
Just think of it this way. This traditional has been around for all the time in the U.S. They've been building them out of wood, simple wood caskets. So you're honoring your loved one by doing an old traditional casket and saving thousands of dollars.
Sure.
And buried.
And sometimes it's more than just about the money.
It doesn't hurt. I think one of the things that helps me the most is pushing that it's the real, authentic Amish quality building, because these buildings that are coming out of Pennsylvania might have a few Irish people working in the factory, but it's owned by a guy in New York.
Right.
And he's making it for a price and a profit.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger the profit, the better,
Right.
okay? So, here, we're a nonprofit organization, and we don't care about big profits. We do like a little profit to cover the overhead, and then to give away to charity.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
not
great.
about money in my pocket.
Right.
I don't take a dime. I don't take a salary at all out of it.
We learned a lot that day.
Not just about the material, but also about the man who came here to help out the less fortunate and build them a structure that would last a lifetime.
The woman come in and said, I can't afford that. So I got some wood. I said, I'll work with you. Or it's not ready yet, but sitting there, and I'll build you a building. Yeah.
What drives a person to do what he does and a trade he loves? Well, for Ross, it's about helping your fellow man.
And sometimes sheltering them from the storm.
So this concludes another exciting adventure of Behind the Studs on the road here in Plainfield, Connecticut with Ross on Sawyer Sheds.
Nice having you.
Well, it's been wonderful having you guys here.
We really appreciate it.
You guys made my day.
Well, hopefully we'll make it your week and your month.
Right, and now he's going to go buy us lunch, too. Happy to go
I
Ross.
can't wait. I
Yeah.
can't wait to get out of here for half an hour.
That's right.
Great. This will be great.
Go have lunch.
See you real soon.
See you next time we're out on the road.
Take care.